Welcome to the Niagara Foundation's Wisconsin Annual State Capitol Reception. My name is Jonathan Walburn, and I'm going to be your MC for this afternoon's reception. On behalf of the Niagara Foundation, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, and thank you for attending today. This afternoon we have an exciting reception planned, and joining us today we have legislators from the state of Wisconsin, academics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, prominent leaders of the Turkish American community, as well as friends and volunteers of the Niagara Foundation. Receptions such as this one are one of the primary goals of the Niagara Foundation, which is to bring together people from all walks of life under the umbrella of the common values of humanity, friendship, understanding, and compassion. This afternoon we will have the Honorable Fatih Yildiz, the Consul General of Turkey in Chicago, with us today as a keynote speaker. We're excited for that. But first we will begin this reception with a short video about the Niagara Foundation and its activities.
The Niagara Foundation presents its 2012 activities. The Niagara Foundation formally established 4 centers in the year 2012. The Center for Cultural Exchange and Interfaith Collaboration, the Center for Academic Affairs, the Center for Social Responsibility, and the Center for Public and Global Affairs. The Center for Cultural Exchange and Interfaith Collaboration. The Center for Cultural Exchange and Interfaith Collaboration encourages pluralism by providing opportunities for people from all cultures, communities, and faith groups to be engaged in dialogue. By promoting interaction and communication among people of various backgrounds, the Center aims to cultivate cooperation by emphasizing common interests, shared values, and collective experiences. In 2012, the Center organized the Abrahamic Traditions Dinner. This dinner cultivates and strengthens friendship, as well as promotes understanding among people of the 3 Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. The theme this year was Perspectives on Abrahamic Traditions, Religious Education. Another important event was the Ramadan Experience Dinner. This dinner aims to cultivate interreligious cooperation during the Islamic holy month of Ramadan that represents a time of fasting, charity, prayer, and unity. Individuals from various religious and cultural communities gather to break bread and engage in friendly dialogue. In 2012, the Center started an initiative called Abraham's Tent. Abraham's Tent dinners are intimate, home-based gatherings that allow people to make genuine connections and engage in friendly dialogue with members of other religious traditions. The goal is to foster dialogue and community between people of the 3 Abrahamic faiths in the Chicagoland area. The Center for Cultural Exchange and Interfaith Collaboration also organized 11 groups, comprised of 150 individuals that traveled to Turkey. Group members participated in a series of intimate home visits, planned opportunities for professional networking, and extensive guided historical and cultural exploration. Travelers included various prominent government, corporate, and media officials, academicians, journalists, religious leaders, opinion makers, students, and federal and state judges. The Center for Academic Affairs. The Center for Academic Affairs works in collaboration with distinguished universities and scholars to make advancements in all academic fields more visible by offering platforms for discussion, organizing conferences, and publishing academic reports. The Center organizes the Study Turkey program, lecture series, and conferences. The Study Turkey program is a competitive curriculum development project for university and community college faculty, which includes an annual full-day workshop in February and a 9-day trip to Turkey in June. The goal of the project is to provide the selected professors with the resources necessary to develop Turkish studies modules for courses in the curricula in their respective institutions. The project concludes every November with presentations of their modules to an audience of experts in various areas of Turkish study and pedagogy for evaluation and critical feedback. The Center for Social Responsibility. The Center for Social Responsibility aims to support the pursuit of social justice through programs that create awareness and provide opportunities for community activism and volunteerism. Niagara Foundation is proud to organize community projects and panel discussions that raise awareness on a gamut of social justice issues. These events are tailored to inspire people to work together in hopes of creating a sustainable community. Niagara Foundation has partnered with a number of organizations and community members to plant trees and encourage the annual participation of Earth Hour. The Center for Public and Global Affairs. The Center for Public and Global Affairs offers the Niagara Forums, which is a public platform where distinguished speakers spotlight trends, analyze important issues, exchange ideas, and participate in productive interactions that promote innovative global and public policy solutions. Speakers for the Niagara Forums in 2012 included around 40 prominent government, corporate, and media officials, policymakers, and diplomats. The Center also organized the Intercultural Reception in Springfield, which provides an opportunity for policymakers and special guests to engage in civic dialogue while celebrating cultural diversity. Patrons of this reception included Governor Pat Quinn, Lieutenant Governor Sheila Simon, Secretary of State Jesse White, Senate President John Cullerton, and Speaker of the House Michael Madigan. The reception was hosted by the Joint Legislative Task Force on Illinois-Turkish Relations, a bipartisan group of Illinois state legislators who have traveled to Turkey with the Niagara Foundation. Another important event organized by the Center was the annual Peace and Dialogue Awards Ceremony, which recognizes individuals and organizations who have dedicated their time, energy, and leadership to the cause of dialogue, peace, mutual understanding, and community service in the greater Chicago area. The Commitment Award was presented to Ann Premagiore, President and CEO of ComEd. The Media Award was presented to WTTW Channel 11 and accepted by President and CEO Dan Schmidt. The Chicago Symphony Orchestra was honored with the Global Vision Award, and President Deborah F. Rutter accepted it. The event was co-chaired by Governor Pat Quinn, Secretary of State Jesse White, Mayor Rahm Emanuel, the City Club of Chicago, and Lori Healy, the Executive Director of Chicago NATO Host Committee.
Next, we will hear from Osman Aydas, the Executive Director for the Niagara Foundation, Wisconsin, who's been the Executive Director since 2011. Mr. Aydas will make the welcoming remarks for this afternoon's reception. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Osman Aydas.
I will keep it very short because we want to listen to our Consul General. Our Honorary Fatih Yildiz, Consul General of Turkey, honorary representatives, senators, and leaders of Wisconsin Senate and Assembly, and members of our state capital, dear guests. I want to welcome you all to Niagara Foundation's second Intercultural Capital Reception. We are very glad to host this event again this year. Thank you for joining us. And also, dear Consul General, we are really proud to have you here in Madison at our state's capital. We really appreciate your presence. I also want to thank our volunteer families for the great food they're providing today. In line with the Niagara Foundation's mission of promoting global fellowship and building bridges between different communities and cultures, we as the Wisconsin chapter are proud to serve our fellow Wisconsinites with our events. So the video we here presented today is more the activities of our headquarters in Chicago. But we also have many offices throughout Midwest states, more than 10 locations who are very active. Here in Wisconsin, with our Madison and Milwaukee offices, in Milwaukee office we recently co-sponsored and organized a panel with Marquette University, which is with the title of Working Together Against Violence, the contributions of religious communities to social harmony. At the panel, religious leaders from Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, Jewish, Muslim and Sikh communities from the Milwaukee and Madison area addressed the challenges faced in their communities and identified ways to increase mutual cooperation. We also celebrated Niagara Foundation's Peace and Dialogue Awards here in Wisconsin. We hosted several lectures on various issues related to our communities in Madison and Milwaukee, including our recent lectures with Director of Wisconsin Public Radio and Editor of Wisconsin State Journal. Niagara Foundation continues to organize intercultural trips to Turkey during summers to celebrate the friendship between Wisconsin and Turkey. Coming from different walks of life, we find common ground in our journey where we share the same dining tables. The Wisconsin community is presented with the opportunity to network with the new lifelong friends as a way of strengthening even further our commitment to a global ethic of dialogue and mutual understanding. We had 3 groups this summer. Last summer, 2 groups had distinguished legislators from Wisconsin State Assembly and Senate, and the other group was formed by prominent academicians from UW-Madison. We are really looking forward to our upcoming trips this summer. We are also currently working on a business forum where we can promote the business relations between Turkey and Wisconsin. Once again, thank you all for your presence. Thanks for coming here.
Thanks again, Osman Aydas. As you know, a keynote speaker this afternoon is the Honorable Fatih Yildiz, Consul General of Turkey. And before he comes to speak, I'll give a short bio of Mr. Yildiz. The Honorable Mr. Yildiz graduated from the Department of International Relations at the Middle East Technical University in Ankara in 1994. He joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1994 and then worked as the Deputy Directorate for Balkan Affairs at the Ministry for Foreign Affairs as an attaché from 1994 to 1997. He then served as the Turkish embassy in Sarajevo as the third secretary from 1997 to 1999. From 1999 to 2002, he served as the third and second secretary at the permanent delegation of Turkey to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. And then from 2002 to 2004, He worked as the second secretary and first secretary at the cabinet of the undersecretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He served as first secretary and counselor at the Turkish embassy in Washington, D.C. from 2004 to 2008. And then he worked as the chief of section at the head of department at the Department of Human Resources at the Ministry for Foreign Affairs from 2008 to 2010. And since September 20th, 2010, he has assumed the position of Consul General of Turkey at Chicago. And we'd like to welcome him and thank him for his
Thank you for this, which sounds long, but it's just 20 years, it's not that long, so introduction. But thank you again for being here today, this afternoon, which I really appreciate, because this is an important day for this state. I know the government will be submitting an important idea late in the evening, I understand, and I really appreciate for you, all of you, to take the time here and show up at this event. And of course, it's an honor, it's a privilege, but it's an opportunity for me as well that I acknowledge how lucky we are down in the south because of the weather. When I always come up to Madison and see what you're doing up here with this weather here, but of course, I cover somewhere up in the north as well. I cover 12 states. I know for legislatures, it sounds a stretch. You cannot maybe you do your best in terms of covering your own areas, but I cover the whole Midwest when I say 13 states. Kentucky, by the way, added recently to my Midwest, although I disagree that it's somewhat south, not Midwest, but anyway, we have now 13 states under my responsibility area, and of course, having served in Washington for 4 years previously, I have this unique, let's say, professional background in terms of appreciating the fact that the difference between what we do in Washington and what we do down here in Midwest, which is completely different. That's what I say even to my ambassador, saying that I deal with real people here as compared to what you do in that way. Of course it's another honorable mission there, but this is heartland. This is what makes America unique, different, and it's a great privilege for a diplomat to serve somewhat what we call area job for a diplomat to be in Chicago. If I call Chicago as area, go ahead and imagine what they will see from Turkey, the Madison or Milwaukee. So definitely. It is just an underestimation to call all these places as somewhat area. This is real area of operation for any country, or even for this country. That this area is so important. So what we're doing is basically we're on a mission to reach out to you, and this my appearance, my presence here is part of that mission. In fact, a mission that I share with Niagara Foundation. That's what they do basically. I call myself as representative of Turkey, that is responsible for Midwest. But they are the real people out in the field who serve as ambassadors, as consul generals, because they reach out to the real people. And I see today with this crowd here, which you graciously attended, that how it is important that reaching out, the mission of reaching out to you. Of course, this is the house of the people. We really appreciate that you hosted us here, and they highlighted a number of areas where they were, those 4 major areas. But you were the keys, of course. That it's not by sheer coincidence that you end up in the house of the people, because you represent these people, and that's something that we highly value. We try to reach out to the people of the United States through you, through their representatives, through their senators and representatives in the Assembly. So I know that some of you have already been in Turkey and some of you haven't. This is just an encouragement on my part after you see all these presentations that you should definitely be there to know more, because that's what I do in this country. When I go out into the field, I get to know more about this country, and I know more how we are in fact similar, how we are part of the same whole, part of the humanity. That's what we are. Although we're Turks, we're Americans, we're all part of the same civilization, which is the human civilization. That's how we see it. And that's what you will see when you go back to Turkey, and that's what we would like you to carry back. For the ones who haven't been to Turkey, I don't have such a fancy presentation. I have only myself here to highlight certain facts. But those facts are to be appreciated by the ones who have been to Turkey as well. Many different facts, but of course, the first major fact is that we're what we call as the eye of the storm. In the eye of the storm, we're in that area where you always hear in the networks, news networks, and the papers. We're right in the middle of that area, which is sometimes a burden, which is sometimes an asset for our country, and that's something that shapes us, in fact, that motivates us as well in terms of our endeavors. So when I say Iraq, Iran, Syria, these are our neighbors we're talking about. I always say to our American friends that you sometimes complain about having even problems with the Canadians. How come we have problems with border problems with Canadians? Go to Turkey and just appreciate what we have to do there. We're talking about now close to 200,000 guests that we received from Turkey and from Syria in Turkey because of this current crisis in Syria. So that's number one fact, that we have to live with this geography, which is sometimes an asset but a burden as well. And the second fact is it's a Muslim majority country, no doubt about that, 99% Muslims. But the unique thing about that Muslim country is that we're talking about 57 Muslim majority countries in the world, and it's the only one that brings together elements that are much more associated with the West. And I say this West in quotation marks when I talk to crowds in America, because of the fact that we are in that geography that brings together the quotation mark West and East together, because we carry all those elements in our identities, in our personality. So it's just by ease of reference that I use these terms, West or East. So whatever you associate with those quotation mark Wests, that's what we have in Turkey, in a Muslim majority country. So that's what makes Turkey unique among those 57 Muslim majority countries. So when I talk about these facts, the third one is of course, the values that we highly cherish, the ones that we associate with what we always West. It's ranging from democracy, human rights, women's rights, pluralism, liberal market economy, free, fair elections. These all what we have in Turkey. That's how we define ourselves. And when you talk about the values, ideas, the fourth thing that comes into the picture is the institutions that you base those values. And those are again, things that you will refer mostly out West, which is membership to NATO, membership to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in Europe, and acceding member to the EU. These are all things that are in your mind's eye as references to the West. So that's what we are. That's what we represent. But no denial of the fact that we are a Muslim majority country. We bring together those institutions with another very unique institution, which is the Organization for Islamic Cooperation. So we're the only country in the world that is a member to NATO, or an acceding member to EU, or any institutions that we refer, that we associate with the West, and with the East as well, which is the Organization for Islamic Cooperation. So, just like the geography, these are, of course, assets for Turkey, but also burdens and responsibilities for Turkey, and we're well aware of these. And that's why, ideas, institutions, that brings us to the policies. That's why we engineer our policies to meeting the huge responsibilities that this identity brings us. So that's why, for example, you see Turks or the Turkish diplomats who are trying to be as proactive as possible in many different areas around. That's why I'm here in Madison. And that's why we have a consulate in Chicago. As compared to many other countries, like, who have huge, let's say, heritages in these geographies. We're not that large in terms of our number of American Turks, Turkish Americans here. But what we're strong is our ability to reach out with this huge culture and history that forms the background of the Turks. That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do. And with these, I'll tell about the fifth and last element, which is very much relevant to Midwest and to Wisconsin as well. The fact that Turkey is an emerging economy in the region. During the last 10 years, performance of economic growth and many other things, it's one of the leading countries in its region, and it is in among the countries of its profile in terms of its economic performance. We're confident that we can do better because of the values and ideas that we share with our American friends, which I highlighted, ranging from human rights to democracy and all those things, which will create the real basis for our relations. We have to be able to do more in terms of increasing the relations on the other areas, which is, as we make some relevance to Wisconsin, in the area of industry, in the area of economy, trade, academic relations, cultural relations. These are what we're looking for. We call each other as strategic partners. In fact, President Obama, made a step further, calling each other as model partners. But to in fact, to meet that very passionate goal, that's calling each other as model partners, we have to work on other areas as well. You don't call yourselves with the Chinese as model partners, but I see a lot of Chinese enterprises and Chinese entrepreneurs around who are doing great things with the Americans. And frankly speaking, we do share with you more than with many other countries. I won't name any countries other than Chinese, since I made that reference. So that's what we believe in it, and that's something not only believe out of our expectations, but out of our potential that we really feel ourselves. So many people are talking about nowadays the self-confidence of the Turks. That's what we have now here. This is a clear demonstration of the self-confidence of Turkey and its people out in the field, its diaspora. The people who have done this, we believe, can do much more, and we count on them for this, and we highly value their efforts to that effect. I thank you in front of you as well. I will continue to be their partner in terms of reaching out to you, and I'm confident that you will be our partners in terms of reaching out. We have already reached out to you in terms of reaching out to your people and to your country to be much more relevant for each other. And thank you again for this presence and for hosting me here today. Thank you, Niagara, and thank you to you all.
Turkey, about
Okay.
the region. So
That's the problem. Yeah. Yes.
How do you feel the relations between Turkey and the United States are at this juncture?
In fact, I mean, as I have highlighted, we call each other as normal partners. When you analyze the relations between the two countries in political terms, in terms of security relations, yes, we are there. We are beyond many other allies that the U.S. has. But we just want to, add much more of the, let's say, content to our relations beyond politics and security-related matters. We want to be considered by our American friends as allies when it comes to economy, trade, culture, science. Because we're talking about a nation which is, sets a stellar example for many others in this region. So the federal government is very much well aware of this. But this is it's a huge country, which has a unique system of governance as compared to ours. And we are at the very basics yet, in terms of devising methods, in terms of reaching each other. So it's not only about the federal government, or that's always what I say, that we may come together with the Secretary of Commerce in Washington and sign agreements, memorandum of understandings. But the important thing is how much you invest in turning these into realities. So that's what we have to do. That's what we need to be doing, to be much more out in the field, to invest in this relation in terms of getting each other to know more. And what they do, what Niagara Foundation is doing, is a very basic thing of awareness raising. So first, we have to be much more aware of each other. When we are much more aware of each other, we will get to know each other, and we'll get to see the potentials in each other. And then we will start doing business. So we are yet at a very basic stage, but we are on the right track. That's what we believe in. That's why your support as legislators of this country of this great state is very important for us. I was on the way, checking the economic development, Wisconsin Economic Development's website, and I saw we're coming back to China issue, but I saw the governor's trip to China, which is of course well deserved and something to be appreciated by our Chinese friends as well. But in such a governance system, to have a governor out of the state and to be visiting another foreign country is a huge task for any country to do. We appreciate what the Chinese are doing, and I heard now that from our economic development colleague that he will be going to South Africa as well. We need our governors, our legislators, our people who make decisions to be in each other's fields, not only in Washington, not only in Ankara, but right places where real people are doing real business. Hopefully we'll do this, we'll manage to do this. Yes?
The world economy is in a downturn. It's affected everybody.
Yes.
But for some reason, Turkey continues to have strong, robust economic growth. Why is that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, when you look at west and east of Turkey, it's two different stories. In west of Turkey, it's a financial crisis which turned into an economic one, and then to a political crisis in the EU system, in the European. And when you look at the east of Turkey, east and south of Turkey, we're talking about political crisis always there. The Middle East always in the making, and reforming itself, redefining itself. So Turkey is right at the center of it, and many people wonder why. Why is this? Why Turkey is definitely being affected by all these things. We cannot say that we isolate ourselves from all these networks. I mean, when we look at the relations between Turkey and EU or Europe, for example, more than half of our exports are to EU, and definitely we're expecting this. The economic downturn in in EU, in Europe, will affect Turkey at some stage. That this will be some sort of downturn for the relations between EU and Turkey, and in terms of trade relations, economic relations between two sides. That's why we are exploring other opportunities for Turkey here. That's why we are here to explore it. But the important thing is about Turkey, and especially about the last 10, 11 to 12 years, is that an EU accession process has an important element in this, because it served as a sort of a motivation for Turkey as well in terms of making its legislation perfect for its own people. We have made great strides when it comes to the environment that we provide to our own people, to our own entrepreneurs. And it's not only about entrepreneurs, but the thing is about investing in your own people. It ranges from the environment that you provide for trade, for economy, to opportunities that you provide to your people in terms of education and scientific activities. The median age in Turkey is 26.7, and in this country it's close to 37. So the discrepancy between even the median ages is huge, and that's the same thing for Europe as well. And this is what makes Turkey vibrant as well: a young population, a well-educated, skilled, a young population that wants to, mobilize its potential and put it to effect. And that's what we see. We do see. So structurally, we are in the right position, population-wise, education-wise. And when you combine this with the right governmental policies, you end up in a better situation. One of the stellar examples is the small and medium-sized businesses in Turkey. I know that in this country, especially in the state levels, this is an important issue as well. We highly value their presence. It's not about those larger corporations, big Turkish companies that provide the real engines of Turkish economy, but it's about those small and medium-sized businesses that explores, that are bold, that are mobile, that are able to take risks, that opens up new horizons for Turkey and its economy. That's how we see it. But it doesn't mean that we're not affected. We will be affected. We're expecting those, but we're trying to devise remedies, how we can, somewhat counter this, the challenges that are ahead of us, common challenges, I should say. Yes.
So what are the areas of trade most likely to occur between Wisconsin or the Midwest and Turkey?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the last 2 years, figures, in fact, in terms of the profile of the economies, in fact, Turkey and Wisconsin are very much relevant. In fact, Turkey and Midwest are very much relevant, because Midwest and Wisconsin is a great combination of urban and rural life. And that's what you see in the industries as well. So that's not what you will see in the East or West Coast. This is what makes this geography unique. And that's what makes Turkey unique as well. I mean, Turkey's still GDP is like close to 9% is coming from the agriculture in Turkey. I mean, I travel a lot. I mean, by the way, I have never flown in Midwest. I mean, I traveled like close to 40 times out of the state, but I never flown. I always, drove in Midwest, just to contradict the idea that these are flyover states. These are not flyover states. These states are really important. They deserve that utmost attention. So you see huge areas of agriculture here, but we're talking about only 1.7% of agricultural contribution to the GDP of this country. So we have got to learn more from this country as to making the role of the agriculture, the role of the rural life, and combining it with the urban life, with the industry. So the important areas are especially areas related to agriculture when it comes to this state. it ranges from, from cheese milk production to corn production, to the machinery, to the manufacturing, I should say. And for example, the lead item that we sell to Wisconsin is tractors last year. I mean, Wisconsin last year bought and spent like $350 million for buying tractors. I mean, for importing tractors, and 70 million of it was from Turkey. And I was amazed to see that as well. I mean, it was once in a year. Last year it was not one of those items, but somehow some wise Turk back in Turkey discovered this necessity, and he tapped in it. So that's what we need to be doing. That's what we need to explore about each other, because the profiles are quite similar with each other, and Turks are out there really. All we need to do is to have them here and have you back in Turkey, and that may be relevant to this evening's discussion as well. That I know that every state here in this geography is trying to attract investments, and that may be the case as well. And that's what I admire in my official cables back to Ankara saying that, or to the ministers who are visiting states saying that don't aim just to increase our exports to US or to another country. The important thing is the volume of what you do, the volume of interaction, because it's not a matter of who sells more, who gains more. No, it's not like a zero-sum game. It's a game that we both win. I mean, you may be selling a lot to Turkey, or you may be investing a lot in Turkey, but I have a lot to learn. We have a lot to learn from you as well in terms of business culture to those areas which are much more technologically intensive, which are great here in this state, in this geography. So I feel really excited. I'm trying to do my best in terms of conveying that excitement back to Ankara. But that happens. This wave when you try to convey that, it always loses in terms of its strength. So that's why we have to have real people like me, myself, who are here, who are feeling this, who are seeing this, who are exploring this. So that's what we need to be doing, with your encouragement and help. Yes.
My name is Mohammed, I am Turkish American. I get this question quite often, so
Yes.
the really same question to you, so I'm hopefully giving you a better idea when I get that question. A lot of American business people, or in my travel to Turkey, a lot of Turkish people ask me for a preferred resource of how to get into this country.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to ask that for an American business, what's a good resource for starters for them to go?
To Turkey.
Learn what to do and what not to do to start working in Turkey.
Oh yes, that's an important area that we are still at the very basics. I talked about the basics. When you look at the relations between the US and some, let's say, some well-developed economies like Germany, like Japan, China, you see a much more well-structured, institutions and processes that you see. And this is not only about the governance, and this is not a governance issue at all. I mean, both governments do their best in terms of creating those mechanisms, but it's about the business community itself as well. We don't have yet the well-structured business community relations between the two countries. So the stakes seem to be always in the hands of the federal government and the government, central government back in Turkey. So still it is us, the government of Turkey and its representatives, as the conduits, as the intermediaries that will take the people from here to Turkey, and that will guide them in Turkey. Of course, when they are out in the field in Turkey, they will have some real expertise on the part of the Turkish business community serving them. But what we need to be doing is to have them here. And we lack that yet. I mean, for example, we don't see a strong, let's say, Turkish-American chamber of commerce between the two countries. That's what we were lacking. I was in Michigan last week, and I was with Ford people. And Ford has, and that's the way that Ford describes itself, Ford has its, best example of JV practice, joint venture practice in Turkey. They produce, and we sell here as well. That's what I said to the Ford people as well. It's great that you are very much, appreciative of this fact, you're very content with this, but I want to see you out in the field, helping the others, as Ford, thrive as well, to get to know Turkey more, and to get the Turkish business know more about American markets. So the involvement of the real business people in the field, in terms of creating those mechanisms, is crucial. Not only the governments, but still it's us, as the representatives of Turkey here. And we have a commercial trade commissioner's office in Chicago as well, who's covering 13 states again. And when we talk about these 13 states, I mean, it's incredible. Each state, like this state, is like below average European economy. You get to appreciate this. So this house is responsible like the budget of a country in Northern Europe, like for example Sweden or Norway. And these are very developed countries. So the task is important, and it's huge. But the opportunities and the potential is huge as well. That's what we have to be doing. Yes.
Thanks for the presentation. As you know, Wisconsin has a great and unique public university system.
Yes.
Do you see there an area of potential as an opportunity for closer relations?
Yes.
Because particularly in relation with research and innovation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's what we need. That's what we need to be doing. In fact, the Turkish students in the United States are number 10 in terms of their numbers among the foreign students in this country. It's about the wealth of a country, of a nation again. When you see an increase in the wealth of a nation, you see that you see a need and policies on the part of those nations, educating their own people. And this country is still the center of innovation, the production in the economic sense as well. So that's something we really highly value. And that's what we are advising as the representatives of Turkey here. That's what we are encouraging, that just like we say to the Turkish businessmen, that we tell them that you cannot do business with the whole of US. You have to pick a partner. You have to, focus. You have to be much more specialized. If we are talking about University of Wisconsin-Madison, we have to be able to know where the strengths of University of Wisconsin lie, where we can, bring our, mutual strengths together, so that we can economize more and we can learn more. And that's what we need to be doing. That's what we advise to our universities as well. The thing about the universities in Turkey, it's still we have a somewhat autonomous system, but still centrally administered. It's not like we have the system that we have here. Even that will be a case that we will learn from our American friends as to making things much more practical for Turkey. But again, like the businessman, it's about the academia, the faculty as well, and the students. We exchange them, we send them. We have a great example here, the professor, who is down in the field in Turkey. He does the exploration and digs in Troy. Turkey is very rich, in terms of its archaeological resources, as you know. During my last trip to Turkey last summer, in fact, I went and visited him, where he was doing good or not. I just went and checked him out in the field. So he's, for example, a great example of those, faculty that we have who is down in the field. He knows a lot about Turkey, for example. So we need such people that knows the true value of Turkey and Turks. So it's on you and on us as well, again, to explore more. Yes, thank you. I know, yes. Again, thank you for being here today. And I'm always, the closest Turkish authority when you look from here to the east to Turkey. I'm always available, but of course we have great partners here as Niagara. Thank you again for being here today, and good luck with the evening. Okay, thank you.